Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix with another edition of This Week in Kyrix. Today, we're doing the week of Wednesday, October 11th, 2017. I kept wanting to say November there, although it is technically Thursday now because, again, I let this go too long. Part of it's because, like I said, my sleeping schedule is completely out of whack from just recovering from these injuries. I do want to say, and keep in mind I'm not a medical professional, I don't think I need the sling anymore at all. Like, I haven't left the house all day, and I've yet to put my arm in the sling once. I don't get as much pain as long as I behave myself and don't try and do something stupid, like move my arm around too fast or lift something too heavy. I don't think I need the neck brace at all, but I'm not about to fuck with that. You know, that's my spine. So, there actually was HeroClix today, but I didn't go, for a couple reasons. Namely, I wasn't feeling up to it, I just really wasn't. Matter of fact, about the time we would have started is when I went to sleep again. So, I didn't really have the energy for it. I personally don't think I'm really even up to go to Star Trek, but that's a once-a-month thing, you know? So, if I skip it, I don't exactly have the option to go next week, you know what I mean? Plus, I gotta be up there anyway for the book signing. Because that's the thing. Timothy Zahn is gonna be signing the Thrawn books and probably some other books. And I'm real excited about that. That's only 2 more days away. Well, technically 3, because it's only like 1:30 in the morning on Thursday. But yeah, Friday, Saturday. Also Saturday, gotta get a hold of Eisen, we're gonna be doing some Jackbox stuff, apparently. And I'm going to be in the recording with them, and that's going to be fun. But I won't be in too terribly long, because, like I said, I got to get up there for Thrawn and shit. It'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. In Pokemon news, because this week was so fucking hectic, and it was, and I'll get into that in a couple minutes, I did not really have a whole lot of the Sinnoh Pokemon. Pikachu, that is to say, I had none for the library. But, to be perfectly honest, our video game contingent didn't really have a strong showing this week, so no one was really crying for them. And we had some new people, including this one guy who had just gotten Alpha Sapphire as his first game. He was on his way to the 3rd badge, you know. And this little girl who was playing Pokemon Sun, and I think she was still on the 1st or maybe the start of the 2nd island. And I hooked them up with a ton of stuff. Like, little girl first, I basically told her, I'm like, first off, I got her signed up for the battling system. Because we have a battling league. And there are 2 categories. There's competitive and there's casual. Me and a lot of the other people in there are in competitive. I get 2 points for every match I win, but nothing for a match that I lose. She's in competitive, or in casual, so she gets a point for everyone she plays, 1 per person, whether she wins or loses. So she's still in the running in her bracket to get free stuff, you know? And I told her father, because when I say little girl, I mean she's like 5 to 7, you know? She's like the youngest kid there with a 3DS. But I told her dad, I'm like, I kind of want to battle her, but I kind of don't, because no offense to your kid, but unless she's a prodigy, any one of my Pokemon will eat her entire team. Which I actually proved, because I'm sitting there putting together a team, and I'm like, wow, I'm not going to use half these. So I ended up facing her whole team with 2 of mine, and pretty much swept her. You know? But she got a lot of good stuff from me, including one of the things I showed off was Starlet, my Cinccino. And I basically told her that one of the Minchinos I gave her could do all the stuff that Starlet was doing. She just would do it with slightly fewer hit points, you know. I also hooked her up with, because she had Sun, I hooked her up with every Pokemon that she could get in Moon except for the Ultra Beasts and Lunala. So every normal Pokemon she could get in Moon, she has now. I also gave her a couple tricky things like Rockruff, which is mildly rare. I gave her a Goomy, which is extremely rare. Dratini with a hidden ability, which is a bitch to find. I also hooked her up with Sandshrew, which was a moon, with an ice stone, so that whenever she wants to evolve it, she can. And likewise Petalil with a sunstone for the same reason. So I gave her a ton of good shit. I also gave her a shiny Beldum that I had left over, and a Speed Boost Torchic. She got the remaining Alola starters. She had Poplio, and I gave her the other two. And a bunch of miscellaneous other starters. She probably got like 5 other starters from me total. And the other kid had to settle for basically a lot less, because once you transfer something from Gen 6 to Gen 7, you can't go back, and most of my stuff is in the Gen 7 bracket. But still, he got a nice, like, 3 whole Pokemon boxes full of shit. And she got, like, 2 boxes full of shit, too, so I hooked them both up. And in case you're wondering why she got less, it's because I was trying to limit her to shit that was low level so that she could control it, you know? Because she was only on the second island, so anything over level 30 wasn't going to listen. Marshadow is out, so I officially have the entire Sun Moon Dex. All of it. Because anything from this point on goes into the Ultra Sun Moon Dex. So I have every single Pokemon legally, bar none. And I'm extremely pleased with that, actually. Naturally, because of Vivian and such, I don't have every variation, but that's okay. I'm getting every variation of the Ash Cat Pikachu, so that works. I also found out, sorry about the yawn, that Target has a giveaway. Only until Saturday. If you go to Target, walk into the electronics section, they will give you a card for a level 50 Charizard. I actually just talked to my friend on a text. I don't know what he's going to say, and I told him, I'm like, damn, I wish you guys had your day off now, because I got a weird request and a shopping request. He's like, a strange request? I'm intrigued now. And I'm like, I kind of need you, and if possible your wife, to go with me to GameStop and to Target and get a bunch more of these cards for downloads. You know, because I like to help people by doing giveaways. I want to, because the Charizards are only being given away until Saturday, but they're valid until February of next year. So if I can get a handful of these things and just go into the library, I'm like, here, you get a Charizard, you get a Charizard. Who wants a level 50 Charizard? Just come up and take one while supplies last. Same thing with the Marshadows. I figure, fuck it, I'm deleting this game so many times anyway, why not throw a Marshadow in with the Pikachu, you know? And then people who miss Marshadow for whatever reason can get it, because he's pretty good. So, why was Kyrix's week hectic? Well, let me look at my phone real quick. I have another phone, by the way. No, I didn't replace my other phone, I just have a second phone. Oh, cool, he might be able to help me. Sending him a thing. Let me look here. The 3rd fell on a Tuesday. Yeah. So, you likely heard that I got fucked on my check again. And it was a Medicaid thing again. So, here's what happened. Naturally, that day, I had my friend and his wife come up, and we sat up in Social Security, and I dealt with a whole bunch of bullshit, and they basically told me, we're going to guarantee one of those 3 checks refunded. The other 2 you're going to have to go up to Medicaid and fight for. So that led to me basically booking an appointment with my aunt to go up on a Monday, which we did. Was it Monday? Hold on. No, Friday, I want to say it was Friday. Yeah, we're going to go with Friday. That's what it was. So I booked it to go Friday. So, Thursday, Pat's had to go to the vet. So, my friend gets up. He gets up here about 10 or so. No, he gets up here about 9:30. We pile all the critters and me into the car, you know, in their boxes and such. His wife's got the dog up front. I'm sitting in the back with the cats. We get up to PetSmart. They basically take me into one of the side rooms, because that's their new policy, is to check them in at the desk, and now we go into the sitting room, you know. Meanwhile, they're off wandering the store looking for dog bags, or a doggy bag holder, that is, the poo bags. For those of you who don't have dogs, that's a thing. Dog owners carry bags to hold dog poop. Give me just a second. That's him telling me that he's going to try and swing it, but he can't guarantee it because his wife's going in for a root canal. He's like, you might want to try other options. I'm like, dude, don't worry. I've got mine. These are for extras for other people. But anyway, we get up there. I'm in the room, and I'm in the room for like 20 minutes, both waiting on the vet, talking to the technician, and just getting the girls prepped because, you know, I got to put their little collars on their carriers because they'll probably get another collar. I think they just went back into their cages. But, you know, just putting them in, telling them, okay, here's what this cat's had this thing going on, the dog does this, etc. Giving them any health notes that come to mind that I can tell them that they should look for, or they should look at, or they should be aware of, or that's a pre-existing thing, etc. And we finally get them all squared away, except for Oreo. The vet lady tells me that Oreo actually does not have a checkup scheduled. That basically since she got thrown out of whack last time because she had been spayed recently, so she couldn't go under for her dental, we used up her checkup and all she had left was the dental. So I basically said, oh shit, they're trying to get her to take that survey. I'll do that. Hold on, let me... Anyway, she basically told me that you could either lose this service for the year, which would have been a whole lot of money down the drain, you know. As she put it, it's like $300, $400 worth of procedure just gone that year. Or they could do her dental. And I'm like, well, she's eaten. Is that fine? And she went back, talked to the vet. She's like, yeah, that's fine. And by the way, I asked this at the same time as the eating. I'm like, if I do her dental today, can she still go in April for her dental with the rest of the girls? And she checked, like, yeah, she can still get back on her old schedule, so Oreo went in for dental. So we get out of there, and we pile into the car and go to visit my mother in her new nursing home, which I thought I had been to before, and it turns out I had, but she hadn't been there for very long. But anyway, we spent 20 minutes to an hour just hanging out with my mother, which was nice. And then we go back to PetSmart, because I told them, I'm like, well, usually the pets are done by 5, but we pick them up around 6. Well, partly was the drop-off time, and partly was the fact that Oreo had dental. Long story short, they weren't ready till 5. So we're fucking wandering Largo Mall. You know. Now, I'm going to interrupt this story to tell you something else. My aunt had called me like a day or two before telling me, how much are you missing on your rent from the whole Medicaid bullshit, you know? And I told her I'm missing whatever it was. It was like 200 something. One second. But anyway, she asked me, I think I said I was something like 200 and... No, I think I said I had 48, period, just on hand. I was going to get another 134, and that left like 200 something to make up. Like, let's say 268. And I said, in a pinch, if I have to, I can get 150 from Amscott, which would put me back in that fucking loop again, which I avoided, but we'll get to that. And I could probably borrow the rest from someone. Well, she managed to come up with 200 for me. and that'll come into play later. In a big way later, but pretty soon. So we're wandering Largo Mall, and I'm in my secondhand flip-flops that the roommate gave me. And these things are killing my feet, partly because they're cheap, and cheap flip-flops just hurt. And part of it is because I've worn them down so much that now they really hurt. But anyway, so basically I'm in agony the whole time. Plus, I didn't sleep much because I've gotten better at it, but at the time it was really difficult for me to sleep in the brace that week for some reason. So we're wandering around places. I think the first stop was the dollar store, you know. Well, actually, the first stop was a Wawa, so we could get snacks and drinks and shit. And then we went to a dollar store, and we're wandering around, and I happened to see collars for cats that were like $1. So I got 4 of them, so the girls all have new collars now. And I wander around there for a bit. She wants to go to Payless and then Michael's, and I wanted to go to GameStop and just hang around for a little bit, which I did. Lots of fun stuff in there. And then I went to reach for my phone to make sure they were in Michael's, only realized it was still in the car. So I tracked them down in Michael's, got the phone back, you know, just big pain in everybody's ass. And I think from there, they decided to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Well, at this point, I've got nothing in the tank. I literally said, I can't go in with you because I'll miss Bath & Beyond. He's like, why? I'm like, because I'll get to bed and stop. So they went inside, and I moved to the front seat, reclined the chair, and fell asleep for about an hour. In a hot car in Florida, it's what we do. Window was down enough, I didn't bake alive. I got sweaty and uncomfortable, but not dangerously so. Went into Bed Bath & Beyond as they were checking out. So, next stop for us was at Target, and we're wandering around Target, and I see shoes, and of course, they won't fit my goddamn Yeti feet. For those who don't know, I wear between a size 12 and a size 14. And I say between that because I have never seen men's shoes consistently measure the same. Like a 12 that'll fit me like a glove on one will be too tight on another foot or on another brand of shoe, and too big on another one. So usually, if you get me between a 12 and a 14, it'll fit me to a degree. And these are fucking size 8s. There's no way in hell these are going on my damn fucking Sasquatch hooves. You know? But I get the bright idea to call my aunt, because she's got that money, remember? And I say, hey, could I take some of that money for shoes? She's like, well, I wouldn't have a way to get it to you. I'm like, no, you're going to see me tomorrow. I have enough money on my card now. Could I buy the shoes and then replace the money after? She's like, oh, okay, yeah. So we roam around Target, and I'm in absolute agony to the point where I don't think I'm going to be able to walk. He's like, could you walk to Payless from here? I'm like, I don't think I can. So he drove me up there. I walked in. Lady took me straight to the things. I saw good sandals in a size 12 that fit me. But I'm like, no, let's be safe. Let's go for the 12 and a half. Because they had 12, 12 and a half, 13. And all of them fit me, but the 12 and a half were a little looser. And it's better to have shoes that are a little loose and can be tightened than shoes that are tight that you just have to live with, you know? So I got those, put them on my feet, an instant fucking difference. I mean, I went from being to the point where it felt like I was walking on nails to walking on clouds. It was just infinitely better. I mean, there are no words to describe the sheer lack of agony I had. So from there, it was finally around 5 o'clock, so we wander back to the vet, and I check in with them. All the pets, except for Winkles, had a clean bill of health. Winkles was having diarrhea, which concerned them, but not me, because I pointed out, this cat's never taken a solid dump in the entire 2 years I've had her. I'm like, oh, okay, well, she had some blood in it. I'm like, okay, that's a little more concerning. Long story short, they had 4 medications prescribed for her, and I picked up 2 of them. One I got rid of because it was a powder. One I don't think it was as important. Technically, I wasn't going to get the antibiotics, which are little pills they gave me, but they slipped those in. And the other one was an injection to get rid of the tapeworm that she had in April that I didn't have the money to deal with, and made a priority this time around. So I called my aunt again, saw that I could cover it, and took that out of the bonus rent money. So we got the critters home, and I passed the fuck out. Actually, I gave them wet food, and then I passed the fuck out. Because by then, we were done. I mean, I was going to have my friend do some extra running, but we'd been out all day, and it just wasn't worth it. And I really didn't have the energy at that point. So Friday rolls around, my aunt and I get in the car, we ride down to near Central Avenue, a little further towards the center of St. Pete, and we find the Medicaid building, and then discover parking meters. And keep in mind, I've lived in the Largo area my whole life. Largo is, I won't say rural, but it's not city. You know what I mean? It's just kind of generic area, It's civilized, but not like a city. So I never run into parking meters. The idea of a parking meter just boggles my fucking mind. So I didn't think to grab any change. She forgot about it as well, so she didn't have much change. I think basically the change she put in added up to about 8 minutes. So we're looking around, trying to find a way to get change, and we go to the hot dog guy, and she only had a 20, which he couldn't break. And I'm like, well, all I've got is debit. He's like, oh, I can take debit, because he had one of those little phone swipers. So I buy a $2 hot dog, and he gives her some change, and she thought he was going to add it. I was like, no, this is change for you. Go put this in the meter. He'll buy a hot dog. We're cool. And it was a good hot dog. I mean, I wouldn't buy another one just because I don't usually spend cash on food when I have food stamps. And B, $2 is pricey for a hot dog, but he was helping us out, and it was a good hot dog, and I was hungry anyway, So we get into the Medicaid building, and she goes out to do something. I forget what it was. I don't know if she had to go to the bathroom or something. But she steps out of the room to do something. And I go in and explain, hey, here's the situation I have. I need these 2 things refunded. The woman's looking at the thing saying, oh, basically, or no, hands me a thing. It hands me my number. I go to walk to the chair. Chair is not 10 feet from me. I don't even get to the chair and they call me. So I turn around and walk to the window next to the one I was just at. And she basically tells me, okay, we have you down as normal Medicaid, but you need this payment helper thingy for Medicare, and you need to reapply for it, so go over to that computer and do it. We were in and out of there in 20 minutes, which is amazing because I'm used to dealing with Social Security, where that same appointment would have taken an hour and 20 minutes minimum, You're looking at Social Security, and I don't blame them for this. It's a busy place, but I mean, 45 minutes minimum just to be seen, much less to get handled. And I've had cases where they had to call me back 3 times, where I had to see 3 or 4 different people. We got out of there no problem, and as we're leaving, this woman comes up saying, do you qualify for Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, etc.? I'm like, yeah, I'm on those. And she's like, well, are you interested in getting one of these SafeLink wireless phones, the free, poor people phones? I'm like, well, I already have a phone. It's like, well, you could get it as an extra. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, sure. So I signed up for that, and I've got that now. And I decided to check my phone as we were going to the car waiting on her, because we ended up moving the car up in a minute. But to check my phone to see how much money I had, and it turned out that I'd gotten my refund. But here's the kicker. I didn't get $134. I got $268. They refunded 2 of the 3 checks and not 1. Which meant that with the $200 that my aunt gave me, even minus the money I'd pulled out for the vet and my shoes and all that, I still had enough to pay my rent right then and there. And that's what I did. We went to the bank. I put all the money in the bank. I applied to get a new card sent to me because my magnetic strip is completely fucked. It's going to be the same numbers and stuff, but it's going to have a new strip. And then I promptly paid my rent and fell asleep, because that's what I do. So there's that problem out of the way. So that's Thursday and Friday right there. That was busy. What was so busy about Saturday? Ponies. Ponies is what was so busy about Saturday. Because, you see, the My Little Pony movie came out on Friday, and I couldn't see it for myriad reasons. But my friend had agreed to take me, and all I had to do was pay for her ticket. So she gets up there, and we get in there just barely in time. Because she hit some unexpected traffic, and it was quite a ways away. And I even told her, I'm like, if you don't think we can make this one, there's another one that's actually a couple dollars cheaper, we just don't get the reclining seats. And I didn't think it would be cheaper, but it was. But we got to the theater that I wanted. We got in there, you know, and I think her consensus is it wasn't bad, but she didn't think she'd necessarily be hooked on the show. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't the most spectacular thing, but I do not at all regret paying for 2 tickets for it, you know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it. I had a blast. And of course, then we went, did some shopping, some food shopping and such. And that was that day. I think Sunday was mostly spent asleep, recovering from all this bullshit. And part of Sunday and Monday was spent getting more of those Pikachus, but unfortunately, the Pikachu is supposed to switch over on Tuesday, but they switch over at like 9 or 10 p.m. on Monday, so I didn't get enough for extra things. But anyway, that was my week so far. Like I said, I skipped HeroClix yesterday because I just wasn't feeling it. And Pokemon was pretty good. But we're just going to call it here. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.